For the hundreds of thousands of Australians waiting for social and affordable housing, next month's federal budget may well be worth watching. Treasurer Scott Morrison says government-backed bonds to encourage private investors are part of the solution. But can the model that's helped revolutionise community housing in the UK work here?
I'm excited.
This new tenant should be excited. She beat the odds. After 5 moves in 4 years in Sydney, Jan Romati Damon is inspecting her own brand new apartment. Because she earns less than $48,500 a year, she's eligible for a rent-subsidized affordable housing unit.
Well, I've been looking a long time, so it's great. I'm very excited.
Across Australia, there's a huge shortage of affordable housing for the working poor and social housing for those living on the lowest incomes. Treasurer Scott Morrison says part of the solution is something called a bond aggregator, essentially government-backed loans to spur investment in community housing. Whether or not it becomes a reality will depend on next month's federal budget.
It holds the potential to also attract institutional investors into this space.
In Australia, institutional investors, like super funds, focus on infrastructure, such as toll motorways and airports. But in the UK, large-scale private investment in social housing has been happening for decades, thanks to generous government rent assistance and financial grants.
When would this be public housing owned by the state? Right?
But federal community housing bonds won't be enough. At the state level, there are moves to help solve a perennial problem: the community housing funding gap.
When people in community housing sectors say that, what do they mean?
What they mean is that the people that we house are on very low to low incomes, so they can't afford to pay very much rent. And so really the gap is between what people can afford to pay and what it costs to run.
In New South Wales and Victoria, state governments have set up billion-dollar funds to help get community housing projects like this one off the ground.
Do you want to come and join me and have a coffee on the veranda?
Most of the tenants rely on social benefits, and most didn't have their own place to live before getting subsidized units here.
If you look at the amount of people around now, probably from 50, even 45 on, that are in a broken situation, that need housing, the government's definitely got to supply it, or someone's got to supply it.
These are the lucky ones, and they know it. Norman Hermont, ABC News.